What's up, everybody? It's Fanboy Prime here. I was gonna wear it, but I'm not gonna wear it now. Lady Prime showing me a wrestling mask. I was gonna put it on for the stream, but I ran a little late. So, um, having testicle difficult
Nice.
technical difficulties. Um, I don't have internet service in the house. I don't know what's going on, and so I'm just using my network or whatever the phone thing is called.
Hotspot.
No. My internet, my regular phone service. That's what I'm using right there.
Oh,
But I wanted to be using my router and internet thing. Babe, you want to look at that? I don't know what's going on. Maybe I unplugged something else over there. So with that said, it's gonna be hard for me to know anything about the chat. I can't really see the chat at all unless I do this. Unless I go live from my other phone, but not necessarily go live. Well, no, I can't because this phone, it's my work phone. It only relies on my Wi-Fi. So my Wi-Fi's out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Not sure. But we're live. We're live. Um, and we're live a little later than I normally ever go. But that's because you, sir, are on the East Coast, which would mean that we probably should have gone on earlier. But you were doing family things on a Friday night, which totally makes sense.
yeah, yeah. It was a pretty cool night, but yeah, thank you for going on later, and it- it's pretty cool.
Oh no, yeah, I was on vacation all week, and so I meant to tell you, hey, we could go on earlier in the week. It just never came through. Never put it together. I was terrible. I'm terrible. Neil, right there, Canned Onion Gaming's. He'll tell you I'm terrible at responding on like Instagram messaging. I'm terrible about it. Lady Prime will tell you I'm terrible about responding to even her text. Uh, normally my excuse is I work nights, and so I'm just not awake. I plugged it into there, so I don't know what's going on.
It is what it is.
It
Technology, right?
absolutely it is what it is. Yes, I can see one thing on the chat. It says hello, Fanboy Prime and guest everybody in chat. So I'm sorry, I did a terrible job. Guest is Dave. Dave from Just Your Average Geeks. It took me a while to figure out Just Your Average Geeks is like a channel that runs through three of y'all.
Yeah, yeah. Mostly just me right now, but yeah, there's
Okay.
three of us that made the channel, but it's really
Well,
just me at the moment.
was somebody else gaming on that channel?
Yeah, yeah. One of the guys was gaming. I think probably like a month ago or a few weeks ago or something like that.
Okay, so I think
Uh,
one time I jumped in there and I was, talking and I realized I was like, this doesn't sound like Dave's. I don't know if they have audio or whatever, but yeah. Um, but I did watch one of y'all earlier videos. I guess when there was three of y'all had like kind of a roundtable type videos or podcast or whatever you want to call it. I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was cool. I thought
That's
that
how
was
we
cool.
started it.
Yeah, that was cool. I saw Troy. Troy's reviews in the chat. Like I said, I can't see the active chat. I just see one thing pop up at a time. I see Super Russ 9000 or potentially WrestleMania. Russ with
Uh,
his
I love that
gearing
name.
his the WrestleMania, right? It's genius.
So
WrestleMania
awesome.
9000 to keep the 9000 too. I see Robert Springs. He said, hello, Kenneth Bird. So, Kenneth Bird. So, hello, everyone that's here. We'll get through the technical difficulties and hopefully at some point I can run. I never run a normal stream or whatever, but hopefully it'll be as normal as Fanboy Prime normally does. But yes. So, you and I. Lady Prime booing Russell. But you and I had, exchanged messages on Instagram a time or two in the past or whatnot. And at some point said, hey, well, if you ever want to come on to do the cover battle, I think is what we talked about, potentially the Saturday morning show. But you said you were a little iffy about going live. You weren't necessarily, I guess if you felt you weren't ready for it, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah. But doing it a little bit more now, trying to get out there a little bit more, and it's feeling a little bit more comfortable. So
Um, I don't remember. Was it Dale? Were you on Dale's of Suspense or something like that? Was it him?
Gary B. Gary B.
Was it
The
Gary B?
1011. Yep. And
Oh,
then yeah, that was the live, and then I did a recording with Paul and the 619.
maybe okay. I'm trying to put it together with my scatterbrain memory, but I remember seeing you while you were live, and I was like, dude's a natural. Dude is a natural. So I was like, hey, don't worry about it. If you want to come on at some point. Like, I wasn't offended that you went somewhere else first. I was not offended. They're far bigger channels than my little channel. So I was like, but yeah, dude, like, you're natural. If you want to ever come on, we'll come on. And then I don't know how it evolved instead of comic book talk to wrestling talk, but I think the two are linked. I think it's really easy to be a comic book fan and a wrestling fan at the same time, but I know that there are some wrestling fans who are not comic book fans, and I know there's some comic book fans who are not wrestling fans. But I think they're very, very similar in their ridiculousness, in their storytelling, in the fact that you can have humor and it's funny and ridiculous at the same time while also being serious. People are trying to kill each other.
It's true.
Comics are trying to kill each other, but wrestling, it's the quotation marks kill each other. It's more figurative, but I barely can see your shirt, and that's because oh, nice. Is that WrestleMania 6?
Yeah.
All right, sweet, nice.
Warrior and Savage on there. All the ones.
Which is funny because they wrestled at WrestleMania 7. But is that I'm not trying to. Oh my gosh! No, I can't. Not you may just be the only one on screen the rest of the way. Okay, there we go. I have my WrestleMania 17 shirt on, and
Yes.
I normally only wear this WrestleMania 17 shirt when I attend WrestleManias, and it's something me and my cousin do because we went to WrestleMania 17, and we've also went to 25, we went to 26 together, and we went to 32 together, and
Cool.
it's we normally wear this one when we go because we're kind of snobs about it. It's like, yeah, we went to the best WrestleMania of all time, but so you've never been to a WrestleMania then?
No, I wish. I really wish I could have been. I've never been to any of the big events, only like house shows and then, Raw, SmackDown, that sort of thing. That's it. I've never been to any of the big ones.
Sweet.
I wish.
Is that your shirt or Lady Prime's? This is my shirt. This is mine. So it's probably why it fits a little tight. I was going through the shirt box beforehand, and I was like, oh, here's a Ring of Honor shirt. I can wear it. But there was a period of time where when I first got married, Lady Prime told me that you need to wear your shirts more fitted. You're wearing very, very baggy shirts. And so I started wearing small shirts instead of medium or larges like I was doing. Like, how us nerds buy our shirts. We normally buy them oversized.
Right, yeah. Uh-oh.
It's Super Russ 9000 with the sneak attack.
Get the referee. Where's that outside interference?
Alfie in the big time. Yo.
Oh, man. What's going on, bro?
Guys?
What's up, Russ?
How's it going, dude?
Going good, man. So, yes, I didn't tell you ahead of time, so Dave, I apologize. But Russ was the one I had invited, and then potentially Lady Prime, but she said she would figure out whether she would show up or not. But I was going to put this Ring of Honor shirt on, but I was buying small shirts at the time. I can't fit it anymore, and now it's in a pile of shirts that will someday go to Ollie James.
Well, we can only see, part of you there. You could have put it on. It would have been like, almost like a tube top,
Well, I was embarrassed about my arms. It's going to be real tight at the top with my arms.
Oh, yeah. You got to make us look bad. Or make me look bad.
No. Dave, you said that you're not necessarily a wrestling fan now, correct?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Not that you're not a wrestling fan now, that you're just not following the current product, right?
Yeah, the modern wrestling, I'm not watching now. No.
Like,
I tried, I tried to get into like the WWF. I can't call it WWE really. I call it WWF. It's WWF to me. But I tried watching this stuff
forever.
And, like every time I turned on one of their shows, it was like I was always talking. And it was just like talking. I'm like, where's the wrestling? Like, what the hell's going on? But I tried getting into like AEW when it came out. You know, like I supported it a lot in the beginning, but I just kind of fell off on it and just I don't know, just
I'll
haven't watched in a while.
tell you this: AEW has done everything in their power to make me not watch their product. Like I have tried to be an AEW fan, and I was hooked on it when it first started. We were watching
Yeah.
weekly, and man, I don't know. It's a chore sometimes to watch it. The pay-per-views are fine, and it's the same thing with WWE. Like I can watch a pay-per-view, and you see more of the in-ring action, but you still want storytelling and whatnot. So, yeah. Just to before we dive in too deep with anything, just to kind of have an idea of where your fandom lies. So, golden era of WWF. Like, what would you say when you watched it back in the day? What about what's years? Because I remember we did talk, and you said the Attitude Era was a time you watched a little bit of, right?
Yeah, like basically the 80s, mostly the 80s, and then I stopped for a while, and then came back in. I think more like kind of like the tail end, I guess, of the. Well, I don't remember when the Attitude Era officially started exactly, but it was like when I got back into it around like 2000, 2001.
Okay,
That's when I got back into it.
so around the tail end. Got you.
Yeah.
All right, Russ.
Yeah.
With the move to ESPN, it's kind of forced you not to be a fan, then, right?
Yeah, I haven't been able to like check out the pay-per-view since or the PLE since they moved it over to ESPN.
So we do our live TV through Hulu, but I only do live TV during football season, and so I guess because we had Hulu Live, we were watching the pay-per-view or the PLE the other night, and so but I'm paying for it. You know what I mean? Like to have Hulu Live itself is like $100 something, man. It's
Yeah, it's wild.
it's hard to be a WWE fan nowadays because
Like $1,000 a year just to watch the shows.
Now they're making you, or like what I was saying about AEW, they're trying to do as much as they can to make it as hard for you to be a fan, and I feel like that's what WWE is doing now. Hey, get a Netflix subscription. Hey, get a ESPN subscription, and it's insane. We got a little spoiled by having the network when it was $9.99. We got a little spoiled with that, and we got spoiled by it being on Peacock. Those were the good days, and this is some of the things I dreaded about when the sale to TKO happened, or the sale to UFC, whatever you want to call it, the override, name of the company, TKO, whatever. It was worried about it going back to monthly pay-per-views and having to pay for it. I mean, which more power to them. They're doing what they can or what they need to do to make as much money for that company, but it makes it harder to be a fan. We thought about going to WrestleMania this past year, and the ticket prices were just absolutely insane. And but once again, they're doing what they need to do to make as much money for their company. How can I be a hater, right?
I've
Like
seen
right now, I
pictures
don't
of that.
even have
People going nuts
Netflix
about
anymore, so I'm not even
prices.
watching Raw now. I'm just like catching the highlights the next day.
Okay, Russ, you said you're watching Raw now, or you're not watching Raw?
Yeah, I don't have Netflix anymore, so it's just like I'm just catching highlights and stuff.
Instagram highlights. And what did you say, Dave?
No, I was saying I saw stuff on like Instagram and other places, people talking about the prices, the crazy prices for WrestleMania and stuff. I mean, it's just freaking insane. That's one of the problems, when companies go public and then they have something like that big merger and everything. It just becomes the dollars, and they want to squeeze every penny they can out of you. So much worse than before.
Yes,
it's nuts.
I think Robert says regular live events are high too. Wow. Hey, what's up, Brian? LCS is here. Lady Prime hates the term PLEs. I agree. Brody said, I thought you were going to be tired. I am tired. I didn't tell Dave about that. So earlier today, you said you were doing something with a family. My son, my niece and nephews, they're off of school this week. They have a fall break, which is something that my son's school has always done. He goes to a charter school, but the other schools in the area have never done it till this year. So we had a fall break, and my plan was to go out of town yesterday. We took him to the San Antonio Wax Museum, but we couldn't do it yesterday. We had dentist appointments, or they had dentist appointments, so we went today. So I spent the day downtown San Antonio. They're doing a bunch of construction around the Alamo, and so it took us walking around where I know we needed to go. So we did extra walking, and then we did about 4 hours at this wax museum in Ripley's, believe it or not. The kids had a great time, so that was fine. It's about an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes to drive to San Antonio. So I came home and I was like, man, I am tired. I'm going to have to cancel on day. I wasn't really going to cancel, but it's one of those situations where you definitely feel like, oh man, if I could skip school today, I would. It was one of those feelings.
Yeah, if you had to reschedule, man, it's no big deal.
No. It's just one of those things where, like, are you really tired, or are you just being well, you know what? Anyways, okay. So
speaking of live events, I told you the other day I was going through my a bin and I found a whole bunch of old stuff that I had and everything. There's a live event I went to April 19th, 2002, $32.50 for the admission.
oh man.
I still got the ticket stub.
Is it I guess at that time were they splitting the roster? Was it a Raw or SmackDown show? Or what day you said? April?
Yeah, April 19th, 2002. It doesn't say, it just says World Wrestling Federation Live.
Yeah, I don't think they split the roster just yet.
There was no roster split back then.
Okay, it was still together.
Yeah. Which is something I don't like. That's something I don't like now,
Right. So someone said that, I think it was Lance Storm said, WWE had seen a boom because for a while there, they only had one world champion. Roman Reigns had won both titles. And he says that's always a good thing when you have just one champion, because when you have two world champions, you really have no world champion.
Right.
Thoughts on that, Russ? Because you're more of a modern watcher. Did you prefer when there were two world champions, or did you prefer just one world champion?
I liked having two, as long as it was like a roster split and it made sense for Raw and SmackDown to each have their own championship.
And you said that it makes sense. What I always hated about the roster split is that it never stuck. You had everybody coming on both shows anyways, and it defeated the purpose of having a split roster, and then it defeated the purpose of having two champions just have one. So yeah. I got you.
I think like back in the early 2000s when they had the world champion, when they did do the roster split, the world champion went between both shows, didn't they?
That was the initial. That was the initial plan. Yeah. Russ, within the past year, you went to your first live event, right? You went to a Raw.
Oh gosh, I think it was.
Was it 2 years now? Maybe.
Ago now, I think. Yeah. That was the second time I've been to a Monday Night Raw.
Oh, okay. You've been to two. Sweet. Dave, who was the world champion at the live show you went to? Do you remember?
I don't remember that.
Let's see.
It was probably Triple H or The Rock, one of those guys. Because at that time, it was like going back and forth between those guys all the time. So it was probably one of them. April
of 2002. Is that when that's dated?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. After WrestleMania 18, which was 2002, Triple H wins the world title. He loses it to Hulk Hogan at the April pay-per-view. So you may have seen Hogan or Triple H as world champion at that time. I have one of my greatest wrestling regrets as far as fandom is I never saw Hogan wrestle live. He was in WCW, and I had the opportunities to go to some of the Alamo Dome shows, or I don't know if it was one or two, while he was in WCW, and I never did. And so that's like a fandom regret, is that I never saw Hogan wrestle live. I never got to see the Warrior wrestle live, and I never got to see Savage wrestle live. I did see Brett, I did see Shawn, I did see Steve, I did see Rock. But as far as the old timers, I never got to see Hogan, Warrior, Savage. Those three names. Did you ever get to see them, Dave?
It's funny. I used to go to house shows. Oh. We lost them. Oh, Lady Prime came in and hit him with a chair.
Like I said, I forgot. Normally, I'm not connected to the phone. I forgot I was connected to the phone. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to try to plug my phone into a charging port because not have because I don't have the laptop. My phone's dying. Give me 1 second.
All right.
I can't connect to the internet.
It's good
It
to
never
see you,
connected.
Russ.
How's it going, man?
Can I?
All right. I
Run
was
into
wondering
that?
if that
That's
was
gonna
going to
be
be
too
you.
hard.
He was saying the
Yeah,
secret.
Fanboy Prime hit me up a couple days ago. Man, I love that Gambit statue back there.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Looks
you.
awesome, man.
Yeah, it's
All right,
huge.
all right. That just disconnected right now. It's been before that. Do it there. That's fine. Hold on. I'll stick it in.
Oh, hey.
You didn't know it was gonna be that kind of show, right? Okay.
Hey, man.
All right.
I kind of expected that, you know. I've been watching you guys on Saturday morning, so I mean, you know.
The nighttime shows are totally different.
All right. So I asked if you ever got to see Hogan, Savage or Warrior.
Yeah, Hogan. I you know what's funny is I remember I used to go to house shows at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I knew it. I knew. Because I knew you were from the area, and I said, man, I bet he used to go to the MSG house shows. Man, yeah. I'm incredibly jealous.
And you know what's funny? Well, what sucks really is the fact that I don't remember the matches really, like in detail. But I remember, like, I have this image seared in my head. Like, I remember seeing Hogan wrestle because I can picture it. We had like these great seats. It was a clear view of the ring, and I remember his music playing and him coming down to the ring and everything. You know, so I definitely saw him. Actually, when I found myself, I actually found some programs.
Oh, nice.
From some of them. So this one was like October 6, 1995 at Madison Square Garden. And this one had the so Bret Hart. Bret Hart won against Isaac Yankem, and then Shawn Michaels beat the British Bulldog.
Hey,
So
Carmen. What's up, Carmen?
I even had the roster here, and I put down.
Oh, nice. That's cool,
yeah.
man.
I found a few of them. I got a few of them here.
That's awesome. It's like you're in the perfect area. You're like in their backyard, their hometown. You know, like that. That's cool, man. And I did forget to ask you that. I saw Hogan and Macho Man in both WWF and WCW. That's awesome, Robert Springs. Dave, have you ever heard Russell's? I'm calling you Russell because of WrestleMania. I'm sorry, Russ. Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard Russ's Hulk Hogan story? His great Hulk Hogan story.
No.
Russ, would you care to share how you felt after Hulk Hogan joined the NWO?
Uh-oh.
So I started watching wrestling in 1991 when I was 11. And the first match I ever saw was Sting and Flair. And I became a huge Sting fan. And I started following wrestling after that. Then I discovered all the old like WrestleManias. So I went back and watched all those and saw like Hogan and Savage. And I was just like, you know, at the time I was like 11, 12, thought everything was totally real, became a huge Hogan fan. And now this was 96 now when the NWO came in. So I would have been 15 or 16, depending on what month it was. And I still at that time thought everything was 100% real. So when Hogan came out and dropped the leg on Savage, I was devastated, man. I was like, it was so real to me. I remember I had like my whole Hogan shirt. I took it off. I threw it on the ground. I ripped it up. I was just like 16 years old and so bought in that everything was real. It devastated the crap out of me, man.
Oh,
That's
man.
when I started watching WWF.
So jealous that I didn't get that feeling when Hogan turned on WCW. Trev popped up in the chat. Hello, Trev. Sorry, Trev. I have like a whole bunch of technical difficulties, and so I'm not able to pull up the chat on the screen, and I can't really see the chat either. I see one. You see one chat thing at a time. So I'm hoping my internet will connect at some point, but everything I've tried thus far is not working. Russ, we I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, whatever. We were doing the wrestling talk, I think every other week or so. Sorry, I didn't mean to burp. My cousin heard that story, and he says, "Man, I popped when Russ told that story about how he felt betrayed by Hulk Hogan." So I don't mean to put you on the spot. I love that story. I was jealous, a little bit jealous, when we went to Vengeance 2013. We took my little brother at the time. John Cena versus Randy Orton. John Cena loses. My little brother's sitting there crying. And I'm like, man, I wish I cared that much about wrestling to where I lost my emotions like that. You go back and watch WrestleMania 7 when Macho Man loses the career match to Ultimate Warrior, and you see Miss Elizabeth, he's getting beat up by Sherry or whatever, she's just beating them like women do to men, right? And then Miss Elizabeth makes the save, and you cut to the shot of the crowd where this girl's in tears because Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth joined and were back together on the same page, or they rekindled whatever they needed to rekindle. Like, man, to have that much love and to get lost in it. That's awesome.
You didn't get lost in that moment. That
I didn't
record with you.
I didn't see it live. Back then, I didn't, because the first WrestleMania I saw live was WrestleMania 10, and I watched it on a little black and white TV about 4 inches by 4 inches, maybe 3 inches by 3 inches, and we were able to tune in. We had a cable box on top of it. Somehow we were able to tune in the pay-per-views off of pay-per-view, and the Royal Rumble 1994 was the first pay-per-view we saw, and I went on a run where I saw every pay-per-view. I probably owe the cable company a whole bunch of money, right? But every pay-per-view on a black and white screen about this big. The first one we finally ordered was WrestleMania 12. We ordered it at my cousin's house, and it's because I was this huge Bret Hart fan. I followed him since the tag team scene. My brother was a huge Shawn Michaels fan. He followed him since the Rockers and the tag team scene. And here's Bret Shawn wrestling for the world title. And we showed up an hour late because we were listening to the East Coast time instead of the Central Standard Time. So I have that WrestleMania still on tape somewhere, and I missed the first hour of the show. Let me see. Hold on one second. If I could scroll through this, it's real hard. Trev said, I actually watched the Cena Styles match. It was great. AJ is my favorite. That's cool. I didn't know that, Trev. Lady Prime says, I'll never forgive Mark Henry for playing with my emotions. Okay, so a few years ago, Mark Henry pretended to be retiring, and he didn't retire. He turned on Cena. That was a pretty big moment. Dante's Game Room. What's up, Dante? Dante, professional wrestler, says the Owen versus Bret match at WrestleMania 10 was epic. Yes. Oh,
definitely.
The greatest opening match in WrestleMania history, for sure. All right, Dave, I told you to put together perhaps like your top 5 favorite wrestlers, top 5 favorite wrestling matches, right?
Yeah.
Did you do that? Did you do a little bit of homework, or are you gonna just let it fly off the top of your head?
No, I know exactly my answers to those questions.
Okay. Russ, I'm going to ask you the same thing, Russ, after Dave gives his answers. But before, Dave, you give those answers, you have a title on your shoulder. You said it was the old foam.
Sorry, the old foam belt, still almost pretty much intact. No,
did you ever have to defend that title?
In bowling, actually, we used to me and my friends, we used to actually, we would go bowling, and then whoever would win would take home the title. And you'd have to hold it up in the bowling alley, and show everybody that you won the title. So you'd have to take it home.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Russ, I was really surprised you didn't show up with your winged eagle.
I got it right over there if you want me to grab it.
No, I don't want you to grab it. I'm just surprised you didn't show up with it, because I do remember a post on Instagram where you were only wearing the Winged Eagle Championship belt.
Yeah.
Yo, that's the best belt, man. That's my favorite. I love that belt so much.
It's a beautiful title. Lady Prime says, "Are you ready to defend it tonight?"
Oh
What's
yeah.
We get it.
what? Oh, see, he's gonna show off now. What's up, Wellbore? Good to see you. Wellbore is Mr. Canada, as Lady Prime calls him. Rush is casting in the briefcase tonight.
Look at that thing, man.
Ooh,
So, is it nostalgia? Is that why we think that belt's so good, or I mean, is it legit beautiful?
I think
Oh,
Because
it's beautiful.
it was always smaller than WCW's, the
Yeah.
world heavyweight title. But man, that's a world championship belt right there. I've always felt some of the like the spinner belt. I hated it.
The spinner belt took a long time to grow on me before I
Yes, right.
started
I
getting
agree
my
with that. I just feel like the other ones, and once again, nostalgia, right? But I feel like the other ones look like props versus that is a real wrestling world championship. Trev says it's beautiful. Lady Prime says it's perfect and not too much. It doesn't overdo it. I think
Exactly.
it's just
That's a perfect way to
I
put it.
really love the Attitude Era belt too. But the big gold is probably my all-time favorite. This is a very close second.
I get that. The big gold, it looked good with Flair, looked really good on Flair. Trev says the Silver Intercontinental title, the Silver Intercontinental was my fave growing up. I do love the Intercontinental title that Warrior won, Brett won, Sean had. I love that one. The Attitude Era Intercontinental title was really, really, really hard to eventually like. I never liked the Attitude Era one, the Stone Cold one. It was a little bigger than that Winged Eagle. But it's said that they needed to make the belt bigger because WCW's was bigger. But yeah, beautiful title, Russ. Beautiful belt.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, all those old belts, man, were so cool. I mean,
I think
I just love those designs, man.
one of the
They're just
first matches I
simple and
remember
they
seeing.
look great.
Yeah. What were we saying, Russ?
One of the earliest WWF matches I remember seeing was the Iron Man match with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, where Michaels won that title. And
Yeah.
I think that was like the first time I saw the Winged Eagle title, because by the time I started watching WWF, they already had the Attitude Era belt.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm with it. Those classic belts, the tag team title, like, oh man, it's great. Intercontinental title, the world title. Even a fan of the European title when British Bulldog introduced that, or they introduced it with Bulldog in '97. Those the classic ones. But once again, I don't know if it's nostalgia. That's what we first saw, so that's what we fell in love with. You never forget your first love, right?
But you know what too? It wasn't like there was so many belts. You know what I mean? Like I feel like now there's so many belts. And back then it was simple, right? It was the heavyweight championship, you had the Intercontinental, and you had the tag team belts. And then then you kind of had the $1 million belt, right? The $1 million championship.
yeah,
That
yeah.
thing was a thing of beauty too.
yeah, for real. That's a nice title too. AEW has way, way, way too many championships. They got a championship just for breathing. It's crazy. But and Trev agrees with you with the $1 million man belt and the few titles. They meant something, right? It wasn't just everybody could have one. Troy says, "I'm surprised no one is showing off any figures yet. Give Russ time. Give some Russ time." And Robert Springs, to me, the WCW belt will always be the Ric Flair title. Yeah. Got you on that one. Dave, top 5. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, for wrestlers, it's gonna be for me. It'd be Hogan, The Undertaker, The Rock, Bret Hart, and Macho Man. That's my top 5.
And it's a great top 5 because you get a little bit of everything. You get the oh man, like Bret, you get the workhorse, right? You get a guy who can have the matches. You got Hogan in there. You get the intensity. You got Taker in there. You've got the like the cartoony aspect of wrestling, but what still makes it fun, right? It's why we fell in love with it. You said Savage, it's Lady Prime's favorite. Wellbore says Barry Horowitz, and I used to love when the King would call him Horriblewitz. Okay, give me your top 5 again. You said Hogan, you said Taker, you said Brett, you said Savage, and
The Rock.
The Rock. Okay.
The Rock. Well, now I'm going to clarify when I'm saying for 2 of them. I'm going to clarify. So for The Rock, I'm talking like The Rock, not like Rocket Maivia, and not whatever he is now. I seen stuff like I don't watch it now, but like I've read up some stuff here and there. Up until recently, I was looking at like rumors and that sort of thing. I was reading that sort of stuff. Like, so I don't know what he is now, like the final boss or the OC or some shit like that.
I know he's mostly just absent.
Yeah, that too. Like he just kind of came in and did his thing and then left, and like left the storyline open. But when I'm talking about The Rock, I mean like The Rock from like the Attitude Era Rock, and then
yeah, gotcha.
Undertaker. I'm talking about like the Undertaker, the undead guy, not the biker Undertaker. I thought that
Gotcha.
I mean, if you like it, that's great. More power to you. But for me, that wasn't my thing for him.
It was at a time when everything needed the realism, and so they, we can't have a dead guy. Oh, nice. Is that the one with the face mask, Russ?
Yeah.
When he got his face crushed by Mabel.
Yeah. I pre-ordered this thing back in June, and it just got here like October 2nd.
Is that one of the Ultimates, or is that a regular Elite?
That's the Ultimate Edition. It's Target exclusive, I think.
Nice. So I had it.
That.
It was a little hard for me to get into Taker with the black and purple. The gray and black is how he showed up at first, and eventually the purple and black was like that's Undertaker. So that's a good list. Savage is a little bit of everything, right? He had the showmanship. He had the intensity, great promos.
Nobody could give a promo like him. I mean, just amazing, his promos.
Now, when you see the memes on Instagram, and they always talk about the the Coke in the 80s, and it must have been. I feel insulted, dude. I feel like they. I mean, it is hilarious, but I feel like they can't give that man his full credit. Like that's just who he was. Since we're showing figures,
sometimes, yeah.
Lady, let me see if I could do this. Nope. Sheesh. Well, anyways, Lady Prime picked up this AEW Owen Hart this past weekend. We were at the Ekman's Card Comic and Toy Show. Paid $10 for it, but it's like a Stampede Wrestling Owen Hart before he was ever WWF bound or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool.
They couldn't use any WWE attires because of
right.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see. Carmen says there's not any new wrestlers I like. I'll stick with the oldies. There you go, Carmen. Trev says so at their peaks. Yeah, you liked them when they were at their best. That's what I got.
I mean, there was so many great ones back then. I mean, like that's like my top 5. But I mean,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with like the $1 Million Man. Jake the Snake. Razor Ramon. All these guys. The Honky Tonk Man. I mean, it's just classic. It's just classic guys. Classic.
And that's why I asked for 5 because really. I mean, you can name 10 easily, but I hate to just I don't like to put it as who's your one favorite because it depends. There's different things you liked about each guy. So I think 5's a good number where you can give me around because I know that if you liked Rock,
Roddy Piper,
do you like the guys that kind of surrounded Rock? So, yeah, Piper, man, how great is that? Now, Piper's best work, was it as a wrestler or was it as is it John Nada? Is that his name from They Live?
They Live. Oh man, both of his classic. I like his early wrestling, the most, his early days, and then I always thought he was great in the commentary. I loved him in commentary, man. Especially
that's right because he had got injured. Yeah. Dave, you're a big Transformers guy too, or just do you have a Soundwave help you with your videos back in the day?
G1 Transformers.
All right. While Russ gives his top 5 favorite wrestlers, I want you to think what wrestler would play the best Optimus Prime. All right. And I'm not talking about voice. I'm talking about a wrestler gets into cosplay with the cardboard boxes and looks like G1 Optimus Prime. All right, what wrestler would do it best? I told Lady Prime, I was like, I'm going to ask these ridiculous questions just for fun.
That's something I've never thought of before. I never would have thought of.
Russ, your top 5. And I know and I fully understand it could change tomorrow. It's just who your top 5 is right here at this moment.
I try to keep them like I have like top 5 legends. I have top 5 current guys. I try to keep them separate. But
so you want to give me 10 then? You want to give me your 5 current and your 5 legends?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, go ahead.
5 legends. Number 1, always going to be Sting. That's the guy that like made me a fan of wrestling when I was 11. And the fact that he had a career as long as he did is crazy, man. Like, because it was just last year he was finally retired.
Yes, sir.
He had like a 90-year career or something crazy.
Oh, is Robert Springs? I think he's heading out. Good night, Robert. Thanks for hanging out for a bit.
Take it easy, Robert.
All right, Sting. I should have known that one.
Yeah. Gosh, man. Number 2. Gotta be Randy Savage.
Respect.
Like, cup of coffee in the big time. I love his promos and his work, man. So good. See, number 3. I gotta go Rowdy Piper, man.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
I still remember the coconut thing where he smashed was it Jimmy Snuka on the head?
If y'all see my camera moving, it's the dog. She's just bringing me the ball back and forth. She wants to play chase. So Snuka with Piper with the coconut on Snuka. That's classic moment right there.
The match, I can't remember what WrestleMania it was now, but the match he had, the street fight he had with Goldust was so unhinged. So Piper number 3. Number 4, I gotta go with Bret Hart. One of my all-time favorites is again, it's like one of the first guys I started watching the old tapes of when I first went over to WWF. I went back and I got a bunch of the old WrestleMania tapes at a local video store and would watch them one every week.
Oh man, I used to love renting wrestling. It's good stuff. I used to love renting wrestling. We could get them. We have HEB here, a grocery store. They used to be able to rent, and Trev may know that about HEB, but we used to be able to rent movies from HEB. It eventually became Hollywood at Video, I think, or maybe they were 2 different things. But I used to rent. And then when HEB went out of out of business and renting tapes, we bought a bunch of the tapes we had rented at some point. So cool stuff. Okay, all right. You said Sting, you said Savage, you said Piper, you've said Bret, and number 5?
I got to go Undertaker number 5. Like when I switched over to WWF from WCW because of the Hogan incident, I started like Undertaker. And I was bought in on that too, man. I was convinced that man had supernatural power.
I love it, man. So was I.
I would get chills on my spine on his entrance, man. It freaked me out. I love it.
Oh man.
So Taker's got to be in there at number 5 as an all-time favorite legend.
Bro, I felt the same way back in the day too.
Dante says, "Have a good night, guys. Have to get some rest. Have to wrestle." Hold on, let me see. Maybe I'll be able to do it like this. There you go. Have a good night, guys. I have to get some rest. I have to wrestle twice tomorrow and Sunday too. Normally it's twice on Sunday, but yes, Dante, have a good one, man. Thanks for hanging out for a bit, and take it easy.
Have a good night, man. Dante's
living the dream. Dude is a wrestler and then has a comic shop. Like, oh man, it's a fantastic list, Russ. I'm sorry, who was number 5 again? Undertaker. There we go. Sorry. It's funny you guys both list Undertaker, and Undertaker's one of the guys I did not like. I couldn't stand him. And then he had one of my favorite matches of all time, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. I was in the building for it that night. And I yelled out. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna do all that no sell stuff. He's gonna just no sell all of this." And so after the,
I thought it was real. I thought the man had supernatural powers and nothing could hurt him.
Yeah, so did I, man. I remember when he first came in. That's what I loved about him. But he was
I
so
didn't
different
know
from
about
everybody
like,
else.
no selling and all the behind the scenes stuff. To me, it was real, man.
well, and you guys are talking about that, like that you guys thought it was real, and I can remember sitting down at my grandmother's, um, not kitchen table, the dining room table, talking with my cousins about it, and we were trying to figure out like what is the deal? Is his human body in the urn, and this is just his? Like we were, we were trying to put together the story. Like what is this guy's origin? Like what is it exactly? And then I mean, we were smartened up at some point, but it's just funny. Like I was lost in it. I was lost in it. Carmen says Shawn Michaels. I love that man.
Sexy boy, right? The Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid.
Awesome song. He had an awesome song, man.
I was so lost in it for a while. I even thought Bubba and Devon were real brothers.
Dave, do you have an answer on who would play Optimus Prime? I can tell you what Trev said. He said Booker T because he does an awesome robot.
I'm gonna go a little different here, and I'm say Ric Flair. Can't you imagine that? Like Optimus Prime walking in, like ooh, like remember
that? Was it the I think I posted that we were doing the stream tonight, and I guess you put a Ric Flair gif in there, right, where he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. So Prime shows up with blood on the top of his his antenna, right? just bleeding because he showed up, right? Yeah, as Ric Flair would. Hold up, guys. Shout out to Bottom Tier Collector. What is up, man? Good to see you. Bottom Tier Collector.
What's up?
Great friend of the channel. It's been a while since I've seen him in the chats, but good to have Bottom Tier Collector. If you guys have the time, or you're doing something like washing dishes, you're doing some chore around the house, Bottom Tier Collector reviewed, I don't know if he got to WrestleMania 10 or not, but I know he reviewed at least the first 8 WrestleManias, maybe the first 9. And I don't know, man, it was just real cool listening to him because he was viewing them for the first time. And so real cool. Like they're like long form video, like, hour long, going through the matches and talking about what he thought about them and how it's different and stuff like that nowadays. And so something I like to play, especially when he was doing them at the time, played while I was doing chores around the house. So Bottom Tier Collector, shout out to that young man. Although he is an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but shout out to him anyways. But back to so Ric Flair, Optimus Prime, right? Optimus Prime coming in there to talk to the Autobots. Woo!
Oh, and then when he's in his truck mode and he comes in whenever he transforms, he does his roll flip over. He's got to flip over and everything, right?
Genius. All right, Bottom Tier Collector says recently discovered Okada signed to AEW. That's what I'm doing in wrestling right now, seeing what AEW is doing. I'm just gonna say this, man. Good luck, because I was a huge AEW fan, and they've managed to run me off. I will throw the show on occasionally sometimes, but really it's just background noise. Like I'm not actively watching it. But I do love their pay-per-views. If you want in-ring stuff and you want nonstop action, I don't know. It depends on how big you are on the selling. Their pay-per-views will, you'll get your money's worth out of the pay-per-views. I'll say that. All right, that's an interesting choice for Optimus Prime. I dig it.
I mean, in all seriousness, that's a really tough question. Maybe like Bret Hart. That might be the only other one.
I personally am insulted every time people say Bret Hart can't cut a promo. I think his promos are fine. He just treated it like real life.
Yeah, he was into it, man. He came from a wrestling family, so I mean, that meant a lot to him,
Wellbore's heading off. Good night, folks. Just got off work and have to shower that steak off. All right, Wellbore. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit.
Thank you, Will.
Bottom tier says they have all. Well, let me just see if I can click. They have all the cool guys. They just got to be good, right? The storylines do suck. Yes, the storylines are terrible. In-ring quality is amazing. You'll find some great matches. Maybe once again the selling's not up to par. That's where it can be a little iffy on. I'll tell you this. Yeah, no problem. I guarantee if you go to a live AEW show, you probably have the time of your life. Because I remember some of the Ring of Honor shows that we'd go to. They were, man, so much fun. So much fun. It sounds like Dave's transforming right now. But so that'll be the thing with AEW. You may feel like it's too fake, but I don't know. Like I said, the pay-per-views are great. Great time. Russ, your 5 favorite current guys?
Oh man, I guess AJ Styles, definitely one of them.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
He hadn't done I don't think he's been around lately, but I love Pete Dunne, man.
Okay. Yeah, he was
one of those guys that could definitely be like a world heavyweight champion. But I don't know if they'll ever give him that opportunity.
With his small stature.
He had like NXT and NXT UK. And
those were good.
Ring. I could see him being a world champion if they would ever let him do it.
A bottom tier says it's the worst time to put AJ on a top 5. Trev is all about you picking AJ Styles. He says, let's go. Because he already said that's his favorite.
Yeah. AJ, he's like one of the best, man. I saw a lot of his work in TNA. And then I was so hyped when he finally showed up in WWE and came out at the Rumble, man.
Yes. Yeah, and bottom tier points out that AJ probably retiring soon. I think maybe within the next year. So.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, good pick. AJ, man. AJ Pete Dunne, okay, that's good. Pete Dunne's a little interesting. I got to see him wrestle live.
Yeah. I feel like they could really send him to the moon if they wanted to. I don't know if he's out on injury right now or what he's doing, but I haven't seen him in a while.
Did you enjoy his time as Butch?
I hated that name, but
you like the idea of the little guy that wants to fight all the time, right?
Yeah, it's that was like such a Vince McMahon thing. When they had Neville, they wanted to give him like this Mighty Mouse gimmick.
They want to give him a cape. Yes, yeah, yes.
They took Chad Gable, somebody that could be on a Kurt Angle level, and they called him Shorty G. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Dave, why aren't you a fan now? You didn't love all this stuff. You didn't love all this stuff we're talking about.
And they just, I don't know.
Got you. Okay.
Smaller guys, they just can't catch a break. Kevin Owens, I got to put him on there at number 3.
Nice.
I don't right now. I think it's up in the air if he's going to be able to come back at all. I've heard different things with his injury, and so I don't know how much of it's rumor or how much of it's true. But the last I heard was he said he wasn't sure when he was going to be able to come back or if. But Kevin Owens, awesome wrestler. The matches that he's had over the years, especially with Sami Zayn, the crazy spots.
Yeah.
So he's got to be my number 3 current guy. Even again, he's not around right now, but.
You pick some guy who's on the injury list, and you pick some guy who's about to retire. Come on, keep going. You're not selling the current product, Russ, but come on.
These are just guys that I'm fans of. Oh man, it's so hard to pick. There's so much talent on the current roster, and so much of it that it's not getting used right.
Kevin Owens blocked Bottom Tier Collector on Twitter because Bottom Tier heckled him so much.
A couple years ago when I had Twitter, I remember saying something about Ryback, and the next thing I know, Ryback's on there and he blocked me.
Man,
Like,
that's
I would've
hilarious.
known. It's like all I did was I said something about one of his matches being bad, and the next thing I know, I'm like, dang, I didn't even tag him in the post.
That's
How did he know?
hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's like a badge of honor to get blocked by somebody.
Yeah.
What am I up to? Number 4.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many guys on the current roster that are so good. Jacob Fatu, I got to put him on the list.
Oh, the Samoan werewolf. That's good. That's good.
I feel like he's going to go far and definitely be a future main eventer. And I got to round it off with Braun Breaker, man.
Oh, that's good. So Braun turned on Rollins this past Raw. So
Yeah,
potential, that's potential big stuff for him. Bottom tier did not like the Goldberg send off match. So.
Oh, with Gunther?
Yeah. Dave, did you watch much WCW back in the day?
No, it was
No?
WWF. I was WWF.
I mean, like I said, you were like a hometown. You were like in their backyard, man. Man, that's awesome. You're the first person I've ever talked to that I know actively attended the MSG shows. That's awesome. That's cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
That part of my fandom is jealous of you because that's cool.
Hey, well, you got to see some WrestleManias, man. So
man,
that's awesome, though.
But I would love one day to see them in MSG. They don't necessarily go there a whole lot anymore, but I would love to see. I mean, like the magic of Madison Square Garden. I would love to see a big show there, a pay-per-view. But I would have also loved to have seen a house show there. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Dave, I also asked your top 5 matches. Did you want to give those? You want to save those for another day if you ever want to come on again?
Oh, well, I would love to come back on for sure.
So, it's
been a lot of fun. But I'll say it. Yeah, I'll say it. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
And in no particular order, really. But
that's fine. I get that too. It's kind of hard to say. Well, this one is better than this one, and then this one. Yeah, just give me 5 of your favorite. That's cool.
Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat.
Okay, WrestleMania 3. How do you feel about people saying that? Oh, it's not that great of a match because Savage pre-planned everything out and had a script for it.
That's just ridiculous. So he always did that, and it's a great match. I mean, if you sit and watch it, I mean, it's a great match. They both did awesome, and who cares if he sat and planned everything out? They mostly do that anyway, don't they? I mean,
that's what they do now. Yeah,
in a way. He was more detailed, maybe, but
I mean, he had a plan to go in there and steal the show, right? And that's exactly what they did, right? So good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Great match.
Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels ladder match. I mean, WrestleMania 10. That was just freaking incredible. I love that match.
It ticks me off because a lot of wrestlers will say that Shawn went in there and had a match with a ladder. But I'm like, Razor was important in that match too. Like Razor was just as good and just as important in that match. Maybe he didn't do all the dives and stuff off the ladder, take the bumps that Shawn did, but Razor is just as important in that match as Shawn is. You got to have a great heel versus a great baby face, and that's a great match. I remember saying the first WrestleMania I saw live on a little TV about this big, watching that match and talking about it for the next 2 hours with my cousin and my brother, just how amazing that match was, telling everybody who we knew had a hint of wrestling fandom in them, you need to watch that match. Another all-timer. And you've named 2 WrestleMania matches so far.
And then this one, another WrestleMania match another WrestleMania match that I'm sure people are gonna laugh about this one. Wasn't the most technically sound match, but I really liked it. Hogan versus the Warrior, WrestleMania 6.
No, dude, that match is perfect.
Yeah, for those 2 guys, I mean, I loved it.
And you get Hogan hulking up all at the same time with a Warrior, getting warriored up and everything. It's such a good match.
Right.
I don't believe Bottom Tier Collector liked that match though. He does say this about Savage and Steamboat. In my opinion, it was the pacing to be the perfect match, and Savage ruins the momentum, tossing Steamboat over the ropes and slowing it all down. Okay. It was on pace to be the perfect match, but he didn't like when Savage threw him over the ropes. Got you. Okay. All right.
And fourth one I'm going to go with is Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam. I think it was 91. I think
91 in Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Bret wins the Intercontinental title. Yeah. That's a great match too.
Two awesome technical wrestlers,
Yeah. You've so far you've had a little bit of everything. You've had the crash match with the ladder. You have the Savage, which is kind of a fight. It's kind of a grudge match. You've had the technical masterpiece. You've had the cartoony, two equal opposing forces taking the event. It's great. You've got a little bit of all flavors on your plate. I love it.
And then the last one I got to throw in there, from the last WrestleMania that I ever saw. Icon versus Icon.
That's good stuff.
Rock versus Hogan. I mean, that was just like, I mean, just when the onset of that match was just, I mean, I remember watching that on pay-per-view, watching it, and like I could feel the intensity through the TV. That's how crazy that match was.
They say, oh, sorry, bottom tier. I didn't mean to take that off so soon. Bottom tier says Hogan Warrior is the dictionary definition of how to hold a crowd in your hands. Definitely the best first act of a wrestling match of all time. Lost steam in the middle a little, and then the controversial finish. I don't mind the finish. I think the finish was perfect. If they would have, well, they never did a rematch. It perfectly set it up for a rematch.
I think that finish was great. I mean, for me, like being such a big Hogan fan, especially back then and all, I mean, that was unheard of for him to miss the leg drop.
Right.
I mean, like when he missed the leg drop, I remember like, oh my God, he missed it, and then he sold it pretty well. I thought like he was really hurt or something like that. Like it was like this big deal that he missed it, and then the Warrior gave him the splash and pinned him. But I just thought that was a great way to end it instead of like some kind of a small package or something like that. That like
Well, and some people don't
weird,
like that Hogan like almost kicks out right after the 3 count. But I mean, he lost. You don't want your guy to lose steam. It was that close. He almost won. Like I said, they had the perfect setup for a rematch if they wanted to head that way. The Icon versus Icon match, Hogan versus Rock. There's a lot of people that say if you watch that match without the volume on, that it's a terrible match. But it's another one of those. These guys held the crowd in their hands.
Exactly. And the crowd turned on the Rock. I mean, come on. You're right. And they turned on the Rock. Stuff. They went with the heel, the guy who was supposed to be the heel, and then they had to, they've said it that they adjusted the match on the fly, in the ring.
Yeah. So that would have been, I watched WrestleMania 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, watched them live on pay-per-view or in person. WrestleMania 18 was the first WrestleMania I had to, I was working that night, so I didn't get to watch it live. And I rushed home. And when I say rushed home, to my parents' house, because they ordered the pay-per-view, and I watched it that night. I didn't go to sleep. I stayed up late watching it. And, remember, my mom had to go to work. My stepdad had to go to work the next day. So I'm here in the living room with the TV down watching it, but the crowd is just so loud. I had to keep turning the button down, turning it down, because that crowd was so amazing. And then I think I woke up my mom. Maybe it was my stepdad, because my mom was deaf in one ear, when The Rock won, because I was so worried they were going to have Hogan win. And I was like, yes, The Rock won. And, but Russ, here's my embarrassing Hogan story. And it's like Dave was saying, he was a huge Hogan fan. I rented WrestleMania 6, and I kept thinking, man, please, a little kid praying, right? Stupid. What? Man, I hope this copy of my tape, I hope Hogan wins, because I knew Warrior won, but I was just hoping that I was hoping that on the tape I was watching, Hogan would win, that it wasn't going to be the Warrior on this particular copy of the tape. And But here's my brother cheering on the Warrior at the same time, and I was wrong. Magic and prayers don't work like that. I tried to train to take my vitamins and say my prayers, but I couldn't will Hogan to a victory. So that's good stuff.
Reality copy.
Oh man. Sorry. It's great stuff, Dave. You got a run of WrestleMania matches that are great. You got the SummerSlam match in there. WWE very, very good about you falling in love with the matches that they want you to fall in love with. Maybe Hogan and maybe Savage and Steamboat stole the show, but they wanted you to fall in love with Hogan versus Warrior. You know what I mean? They wanted you to fall in love with Shawn versus Razor. They built the matchup perfectly. Brett versus Mr. Perfect. This was a turning point. Perfect had held the Intercontinental title for a good run. This was the perfect time for him to lose it and pass it on to the next guy. Hogan and Rock, the build-up, a little ridiculous with them crushing each other in the monster truck, running over the ambulance, whatever, but they wanted you. They're very, very good at creating matches and moments that you remember. So this is a great list. Russ, you got a favorite match or two you want to share?
I mentioned it earlier, but one of my favorites was the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Definitely got to put that on the list. That was just an all-time classic. Another one that comes to mind is the WrestleMania 20 Triple Threat with Benoit, Michaels, and Triple H. That was just a classic match.
I'll do it in a minute.
I know it's like controversial now because of Benoit, but after the match, like seeing like him and Eddie Guerrero each holding world titles in the ring at that time
Big moment.
Was so epic. Yeah, I remember loving that match when it was on.
No, it's a great moment. That was during the time when Triple H won everything, and so we popped when Shawn came in with the super kick to knock Triple H off of Benoit. Like, I don't know, just the moments there. It's a great match. It's a good match. Yeah. For WrestleMania 20.
Oh man, there's so many like different matches running through my head. Another WrestleMania match a year earlier, I think at WrestleMania 19. With Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. That was a great match. Brock almost died with that shooting star press. I don't know what he was thinking trying to do that. But,
Carmen's dad's favorite wrestler was Bob Backlund. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Old school.
I love it.
Really old school.
Nice.
And Carmen's kind of, in that area of WWF, being in Boston, Mass, that's still kind of that Northeast area that WWF, I mean, that's their backyard. So that's a big deal. They would run the Boston shows too, just as fairly often as they would do the New York shows there. So that's a big time thing. Angle won't ever let Lesnar forget he whooped Lesnar in the real Roman Greco wrestling. That's true. They had themselves a little sparring thing at one time.
Yeah, I heard they had a good rivalry going back then, and like outside the ring too.
Yeah. An NCAA champion versus Olympic champion. And Brock Lesnar just being a freak of nature that he is. So,
Olympic
man,
champion who had a broken neck when he won. I mean,
that's right. A broken, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the matches that ended up making me a fan of Kurt Angle back in the day too.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite Angle match is Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Dave, if you ever get a chance to watch it, I encourage you to watch Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle WrestleMania 21. It's the style you like, a little bit of the technical wrestling, but also Angle is a beast, and so it's got a little bit of the aggressive beatdown wrestler, but it goes back to Angle's wrestling roots. Bret Hart would have loved to wrestle Kurt Angle, so that's about as close as you can get. Shawn versus Kurt Angle is about as close as you'll ever get to Bret versus Kurt. But I do encourage you to ever watch that match if you get a chance to. we're about an hour 9 minutes, hour 10 minutes in. I don't want to keep everybody too late. But my idea with this stream, and I was telling Dave about it beforehand, is that I just want to talk to fans of wrestling and get your take on it. We don't necessarily have to talk about the current product. We don't necessarily have to talk about before Russ we did certain shows. That's cool, but I like the idea of what made you a fan. What got you hooked? And I know Russ. His love came from Sting, watching the Sting match, and I know a lot of us, all of it's the same thing. The first time we ever saw wrestling, we loved the larger than life aspect of it. But Dave, what was it that drew you into wrestling, especially during the peak, the golden era? You said late '80s, I guess, or '80s wrestling. You had the opportunity to go to MSG shows. What was it that drove you into wrestling fandom? Before that, I'm sorry. Yes, Carmen, we are going to go live tomorrow morning. We are doing a cover battle. It's going to be the cover theme is blood. In fact, as soon as the stream ends, I'm going to have to go get 7 covers with blood on it. But yeah, we'll be doing the show in the morning.
We didn't be putting real blood on them.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know if I have enough covers. I may have to do that.
Get that razor blade out.
yeah.
Hit yourself in the head with the comic,
Carmen, we didn't go live last week. I don't know. I know you left a little early on the stream. We had gone to a comic and toy show, and I don't know if I had said it early in the stream when you were on. So if you showed up last Saturday morning to watch the stream, I'm sorry. I know we've been kind of wishy-washy throughout the year with my mom passing away, my grandmother passing away, and just me getting sick. But we should be fairly reliable on the schedule going forward, at least to the end of the year. I don't foresee us going into any more shows or having any more Saturdays reasons to miss. But yeah, Dave, what was it that drew you into wrestling? What I mean, is it the same thing that gets you into comic books? It's just seeing these larger than life characters?
I mean, I think that was part of it, but I mean, honestly, like my grandfather was a big fan of wrestling.
Awesome.
He was the one that took me to the house shows. We would always go to the house shows, and actually, when I would have breakfast with him, there was a lot of times I would have breakfast with him in the morning before school and all that, or dinner at night. We would actually. He would have the newspaper, and back then, one of the newspapers they had a wrestling column.
Nice.
So you could see the results from the previous, previous night or whatever, and then, they had a guy. He had like a mask on, and he would, talk about different rumors and different things. But
that's awesome.
He got me into it because he was into it, and then I just fell in love with like watching, Hogan. Hogan.
Nice.
He's my all-time favorite. I just.
There's something
his gimmick and everything, I mean, it's just like perfect. He pulls you in.
There's something about a balding blonde-haired man with oil all over his body yelling at you and fighting for America, right?
And ripping his shirt off at the same time.
Bottom 2 Collector says Sting is the reason I loved it as a kid. First era. Lesnar brought me back in middle school. I came back again in my early 20s for CM Punk and the Pipe Bomb. Today, I'm about the hot names internationally. That's cool. I mean, that's kind of how I am with comics. I fall out, I come back, fall out and come back, fall out and come back. And so I can see that happening with Sting, with Lesnar, with Punk, with the international stars. That's cool. Russ, you're still sticking with Sting. You saw a Sting match. You saw a guy with a painted face, and you loved it.
Yeah, I remember I tried like crazy to get my mom to dye my hair blonde and let me grow a rat tail like Sting, and she wouldn't do it, man. She wouldn't do it.
Ask her now if you can do it. See if she'll let you do it now.
Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, I did dye my hair blonde at a midlife crisis moment.
I remember that.
See pictures of that. I gotta see that.
Carmen says those are cool figures, Russ. Yeah, Russ is building a quite awesome collection.
A nice little ring setup over here.
Yeah, I love it. You're gonna have your own Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Hold on. Show the ring again. Some of those figures look like they moved since the last photo I saw. You've been playing with them. I know it.
Yeah, I moved them
I
around
know.
a little bit. Circled the ring and just moved stuff around.
Yeah. There's
that's
nothing
good
wrong
stuff.
with that. There's nothing wrong with playing with that.
Hey, heck no. Why own them if you're not going to play with them, right?
I know that's what they're for, man. I'm living my childhood again at 45 years old.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all, man.
Lady Prime says still no Jericho, Russ?
No, there's a couple missing that I still need to pick up, man. I don't have a Jericho yet. I've actually been looking at some older Attitude Era Jericho figures on eBay.
You know,
I was a fan
there
of Jericho
is
back then.
There's good stuff. Bottom tier collect. I need a sky blue figure. We've seen one recently, and it's a pretty nice figure. There is rumors that his time in AEW is coming to an end, Russ, and so you may be finding an Ultimate Edition Jericho soon. So
that would be nice. A new updated figure. Because a lot of the AEW figures that I've seen, I don't know, the face skins just seem off.
To me, it's the skin tones, like the color of this color of the skin. It just looks off. I don't know if it's because I'm so used to the Mattels. We have quite a few of the AEW figures. We'll pick them up, and then Cat Fan blessed Leah with like 8 of them or 6 of them, something like that, a full run. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I see what you're saying about the AEW figures. Something, they look off, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it is. But that sky blue figure is pretty cool. There's a Julia Hart figure that's cool. These are all women wrestlers, Dave, that are fairly new. we might be losing
the sky blue. I recognize the sky blue name. So.
Oh, okay. You seen some highlights, have you, of sky blue?
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of highlights with Alexa Bliss.
Oh. Neil used to be in love with Alexa Bliss. I don't think once she got married and had a kid, he fell out of love. But well, guys, thank you both for hanging out this evening. I'm not going to keep everybody too late. We didn't kind of discuss ahead of time how long we'd like to go, but I think an hour 20, an hour 30, or whatever. An hour is good time. But if you guys want to come on again, we'll plan something. It's fantastic. We'll kind of have a bigger theme to go with, but. As I was telling Dave before, earlier this week, before we ever, had even picked the time, I think, is that I view-wise, I don't know that we'll get that many views, whatever, but I just like hanging out with people and talking wrestling, talking comics. Telling Dave that really in my real life, everyday life, where I physically touch people, I really only have one comic book fan. And nowadays, I really don't have too many wrestling fans. I have a few guys at work that they make mentions of a few things, but they're younger guys, so they don't remember the classic stuff like you're talking about, Dave, with those matches. I could tell them about it and they don't know what I'm talking about. They know more of the newer stuff. So it's always cool to me to be able to talk with other fans about some of the similar things that we love. And it's always cool to hear Russ tell that story about Hogan turning on him. But
I believed it was real. Way too long. I think I was in my early 20s.
No, I love it.
Like I said, I was still like, I thought Bubba and D-Von were like brothers in real life. Edge and Kane. I was still like, even into my early 20s, I was like all in.
Now, Bottom Tier is saying something, and I don't know if there's some innuendo behind using the word dumpster, but I watched some dumpster indie wrestling match with Sky Blue and Julia Hart in it last night. Loved it. And I don't know if that dumpster indie match is just making reference to Sky Blue, but that's great. Bottom Tier, that's great. Bubba Ray is top 5 for me. That's I got to get Bottom Tier on here to tell me his top 5 one of these days.
Speaking of Bubba Ray, they're coming out with the Ultimate 2-pack. I think it's a ringside exclusive of Bubba and D-Von.
Oh, nice.
I think it either said mid-November or December. But that's on my list of figures to pick up when it drops, too.
Russ, my suggestion to you, and this is something that Lady Prime probably, like looking back, she probably wishes she would have stuck with, is, and you've made mention of it before, like just one version of each guy, because you can wind up with quite a large collection. We have like 3 or 4 or 5 Seth Rollins. I get that she buys every Macho Man she can. That's cool. Every Warrior she can. That's cool.
I still need to get a Macho Man. For some reason, they haven't made any like new Macho Man figures in a long time.
I think the Legends deal ended, and they're kind of exploring like letting indie people make one because Heels and Faces made a WrestleMania 7 Macho Man recently, and so yeah, it's done in the old Hasbro style.
But yeah, it's easy to get doubles. Like I ended up with 4 versions of Hulk Hogan. I've got 2 versions of Sting. I've got 2 versions of Undertaker, 2 versions of Kane, and 2 versions of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and I remember you saying you weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
You said you weren't going to do that, and you made the video. I lied, and all I could do was laugh when I saw it.
Well, I mean, when I saw the Surfer version of Sting, I had to get that, man.
That's totally exciting. Those are 2 different guys, Surfer Sting and Crow Sting.
I know it's an AEW figure, but I still stuck the big gold title on him.
We saw that Sting recently, and man, I am a little upset that I didn't pick it up because it's a cool looking Sting. Dave, do you buy any wrestling figures, or you mainly
not anymore? Back in the day I did the old Hasbro ones. I had I had a bunch of those ones. I still have a few of them, you know. But actually, I'm gonna see Sting next month. He's doing a couple of conventions, so
will he still have the face paint on?
Yeah, this is his last year with the face
paint.
So.
Yeah. I was gonna say I knew he had announced it that he would be getting rid of the face paint. So, but that's cool. You'll get to see him with it.
I always regretted I never got to see Sting wrestle in live.
I'm trying to think now if I saw I don't think I saw Sting. I had the opportunity to see him wrestle at the pay-per-view in Houston when he wrestled Seth Rollins for the world title, but we had gone to an AEW pay-per-view that weekend. We had gone to NXT. We went to AEW pay-per-view Friday night. We went to NXT Saturday, and money was just like kind of tight at the time. We had just had Ollie. My wife at the time was going through some medical things, and so we skipped out on that pay-per-view, and now I've never seen Sting wrestle live, so I missed out on my opportunity. Wasn't Surfer Sting NWO champion? Yes, he was.
Now, does the Dudley Boys figures come with a table?
How can it not, right?
No.
If it's how can it not?
Put one in the box with one of them at least. I mean,
they should, right? Or if it's a double box, like half a table behind one guy, half a table behind the other, right?
Perfect.
If they don't have a table anyways.
Is that the one that breaks apart? Yeah.
It came with the Seth Rollins Shield figure.
Lady Prime says not AEW. I don't know what she meant, not AEW.
She said Ring of Honor. Okay, that's one right before it says Ring of Honor.
I'm sorry. We went to a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. If I said AEW, I'm sorry. We went to a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. The pay-per-view where my shirt's too small now. Sat in the front row and almost got hit by a ladder that Cedric Alexander was carrying. So I almost had a moment on pay-per-view. Darby Allin has put Sting's son under his wing. Hopefully, hopes he make a career. I hate that Scott Hall's son fizzled out. Oh, I didn't know he fizzled out. I knew he was wrestling in Japan, but I do know Sting's son wants to make a career.
I heard that.
So, well, thank you guys. Yeah. It was Moose, not Alexander. Was it Moose? Oh man! And then that night, the Kingdom. It was Matt Taven and Bennett. I can't think of his name. Mike Bennett and Matt Taven won the tag team titles, and then Matt Taven jumped into my arms to celebrate the tag team title win. So, but what happened earlier the night is there was this wrestler called the Romantic Touch, and he wears a mask. I believe fully in my mind that Matt Taven was wearing the mask, kissed my wife, went back to the back and told everybody, now I'm going to go celebrate with that guy in front of his wife. And he did exactly that. He did exactly that. That's what I think happened. I don't know for sure, but I think that's what happened. Is that Carmen? Have a great night, everybody. See you in the morning. We'll see you, Carmen. Thanks for hanging out. Peace out, Carmen. And so, but thanks guys for hanging out. Appreciate it, Dave. It's good to have you on camera. at some point we'll hang out together and talk comments. But thank you for hanging out, talking wrestling. Thank you for making me incredibly jealous, knowing you went to the MSG shows. I think that's amazing. Russ, always a great time hearing your Hulk Hogan story. I know that's like the 4th or 5th time I mentioned it tonight, but I love that story. It makes me pop every time. But thank you guys. It was fun hearing your top 5 matches. That's great. And we get to hang out in the future. And no, that's a BS comment right there. Our lips never touched. I don't believe that one bit.
I think you only have to worry if Chris Jericho comes to town. Then you might have to worry.
So here's the thing, and I keep ending the stream and then I keep talking a little bit more. So 2 times I've lost myself in fandom, right? Wrestling fandom. One time I met Christian, and it's funny because my cousin's like, dude, I thought you were going to be cool about it. And I was like, we went to like the fan access, and you got to go to different wrestlers to get your autograph. I was cool with everybody, just met laughing, oh yeah, just thanks for what you do, appreciate it. Went up to Christian, I looked that man in the eyes and I started stuttering. I started stuttering. I was like, oh man, it's just such an honor to meet you, man. And I'm wearing my WrestleMania 17 shirt. I really loved the TLC match you were in at WrestleMania 17. Like, it was just, it's terrible. And then, I looked at Christian eyes. So apparently blonde hair men is what gets me, right? But so later on, we're at a Ring of Honor show, and there was this guy called R.D. Evans. His name was R.D. Evans. Small indie wrestler, became a writer for WWF or WWE. He got fired because he wrote Bret Hart's Hall of Fame speech, the Hart Foundation speech, where he mentioned Vince McMahon, and he got fired for it. But he was wrestling at Ring of Honor. Yeah, exactly. He was wrestling at Ring of Honor, and he cut this promo before the Ring of Honor show, talking about how, because he was going to wrestle for the TV title, that the Shrine Auditorium in San Antonio was going to be his Georgia Dome, like when Goldberg won the WCW title. So I made a sign. This is R.D. Evans' Georgia Dome, and we go up to his table to meet and greet with him, to get a photo. Right? I didn't care about autographs. I wish I would have got it now, but I wanted to take a photo with him and my sign. And I looked that man in the eyes, and I started stuttering again. So, and my wife was with me, pregnant at the time. So staring into the eyes of blonde-haired wrestlers is my kryptonite. But that's my funny, embarrassing story, Russ. Please tell me you met Christian in his AEW heel era and said something gruesome. I didn't. I would love to have met Christian whenever he talks about people's dads being dead. I think that's great gimmick. What a whiff, Lady Prime. I don't know. Oh, our lips never touched. Okay. So I saw what little bit of the chat I could. Next time, hopefully I'll have a full running technology. Hopefully I'll have it set up in the morning, ready to rock and roll. But thank you guys. Thanks, Russ, for hanging out tonight. I know I asked you kind of last minute, but you were my surprise run-in. Dave, thanks for hanging out. Like I said, we'll talk comics at some point. Hopefully we can talk wrestling again. Same thing, Russ. Hopefully we can talk wrestling again. Maybe we can make this a semi-regular thing. Friday.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
I know Friday nights are a little hard, like you said, family time and stuff, but maybe we can put together something. But thank you guys. Bottom Tier Collector, thanks for hanging out, man. I miss seeing you around the chats like I used to, but I understand life takes us in different places. But thanks for hanging out in this wrestling stream, Bottom Tier. Appreciate it. Appreciate your comments in the chat. And I always love your thoughts, Bottom Tier. And yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, but thanks for hanging out, everybody. And if you catch it on the replay, appreciate that as well. Peace out, everybody.
Okay, everyone.
And in stream.